Well, completing an LS swap on the 81 Corvette. Sat there and glad to see this one go. I absolutely hate Corvettes. Worse than I do Ford Mustangs, working on them. And I'm not a Ford guy at all, so tells you something there. What I'm doing here is you got, of course, figure out your vacuum sources and everything like that. But I seen something that was eliminated. These don't have the vacuum, or if somebody puts like a larger cam in some of these here, you'll be going down the road. And I noticed on a lot of hot rods that people will sit there and they'll go, yeah, my vents work great, but boy, when I go to pass somebody, everything keeps flip-flopping around in my dash, and I don't understand why. Well, I'll show you what I did real quick. I've already kind of buried and hid it, but I'll show you why that's not happening. And this is on some of the later 70s, early 80s, probably up into some of the very few 90s GM cars. So what I got here is a vacuum source right here. I got that teed off to operate things for in here. Actually, I could probably eliminate that, to be honest with you, because it doesn't need that anymore. Because I've converted this over to electric headlights. So now that I think about that, I'll just plug that off. Anyway, so underneath here, I've got hidden this little black check valve, and you do have to put that on the right direction. And the reason that is for vacuum storage. We have started storing vacuum on the 80s cars, especially, like I said, late 70s, early 80s cars, because there's a reason that big ugly ball thing was hanging off of your firewall somewhere, and that was to store vacuum with the use of that check valve that y'all thrown away in many piles, and I did back in my younger years. Didn't really have anywhere to put the vacuum ball. So what I've done here is I did find somewhere I could hide it. And I've run them hoses down here in this fender area. And we'll wait the next few moments for this to lift up. Almost need like one of them game shows, something, all this thing's lifting up. But what I did here on this Corvette, and there's a lot of places you can hide these. You don't need a very big can. Some of those, like Oldsmobiles and stuff like that, had very large cans. We're almost there. Yay! So anyway, what I did here, there you are. I hid that little sucker up in there to store some vacuum. Then I run my little hose back up in there to the line going in to supply the vacuum inside the car. Now, if you're doing an 81 vet and an LS swap, and you don't want to spend a small fortune on the long tube headers, that's your choice if you want to. I will show you something real fast too. There's the exhaust on that. These are shorty block hugger headers, and they work excellent in this situation. I didn't have to modify these in any way, shape, or form. Those are C1 Corvette block hugger type headers that we had put on there for this guy. This kid, he wanted to X-pipe thing added in here, and I'm not as fond of the sound of these big old weird square mufflers, but we, just like we did back in our day, we enjoyed what we enjoyed, them old tin can thrush black glass packs that we'd blow out about every 6 months and put back in, which I guess the kids on some points are a little bit wiser than we are, a little higher quality of material mufflers. So I'm going to lower this back down, and we'll talk a little bit more about this LS swap. Man, these things are so damn slow. So anyway, this motor here, the guy that owns this car is out of somewhere in New Mexico, and we pulled that LS out of that really nice 69 Camaro, which seemed to run good, but he's wanting to go a little more horsepower and add a couple more gears to his car. So we carried this over into this car. Don't worry about the detail work. We just painted under the hood after we cleaned it up. That's as far as I detail. They can take care of the rest of that shit themselves. But and I'm really hoping I'm not going to have an issue here, but had to custom build AC lines. Managed to keep the AC box, got cold air blowing in there. I'm not sure how that mass airflow sensor is going to work out. I've done a short tube on those before, and it seems to piss them off. This car had this motor had a PSI conversion kit with it, which was nice because I really like the guys at PSI Conversions. They do really good work. Put the intake fuel pump in there for an 82 with the higher pressure pump. Holley makes it. I went ahead and I put a regulator in there, just kind of keep things steady. I don't know why, I just can't get myself to use that filter, Corvette filter thing. I just don't think it's that reliable. Of course, you can see little homemade brackets and stuff to hold transmission lines out of the way, because I wasn't sure how in the hell I was going to sit there and put a dipstick tuber on there with this injection line. I'm not sure what the intake is unless that's part of that professional product stuff there. So PSI has all the fuses that are wired up and fired up, and they do a great job nowadays, but this was an early model, so it had a shitload of inline fuses in it. And then there was also a few damn there's a little box, and then there's the relays that run fuel pump and the on-off system for the ECM to switch to the switched on and off side of that. These relays here are to run the fans, and I did not have on a 2005 Savannah wire to turn on at least one or two of these fans so that when the AC compressor kicked on, that it would have the fans on so that the R134 wouldn't build a bunch of head pressure. So basically what you do on that is normally everybody uses the number 30 pin on the relays and the 87. Yeah, 87. Well, there's an 87A in there. If you reverse the number 30 for power supply and put it in the 87 position, and then put the 87 position in the 30, you can add just one relay, and then you can sit there and send it to that 87A so that whenever you hook this other relay with that little green fuse sticking out of it. What I did is I tapped into the AC compressor wire here, grounded it over here, because on Corvettes they don't give you a lot of spots to ground stuff, so whenever that clutch cycles, that kicks in, it kicks on the fan relays, and the fans will run while the AC is turned on and functioning. Interact got a hold of some of the wiring in this because this was stored in the barn for a little bit, so should have probably showed the repairs I had to do, but well, I can show you one. Rat had chewed that from here down, somewhere behind where the block was from the old engine. Man. Now, what I do like to do is, if I can, make it where all the factory gauges work and stuff like that. You know, I could have put Dakota in here. The guy was okay with it, but I'm like, these always end up costing more than what you're expecting. So we got factory style gauges. And of course I had to move my gauge sensor right there for that. Normally these LSs have a weird thread thing up here. They have a deal, but it omits it. So I like the computer to know the oil pressure too, so that it can do a shutdown mode. That way if I do lose oil pressure. But yeah, you won't be able to see it. But on the side of the block over there by the oil filter, there's normally a little spot where they would run lines for coolers and stuff like that. With this one, we're not running the oil cooler in. They make a little cap that goes on there that's heavier than the factory one, and they put you some 1/8 inch NPT threads in there, and you can screw the factory style oil pressure sender on there, which then makes the factory gauge work. So that's what we did there. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff. Used on the water pump side of this thing, I got a hold of ICT billet out of Wichita, and that is a newer 80s vet water pump, and it's got spacers on there so that everything would line up and work the way it was supposed to. Can't remember what the issue was, but I wasn't able to run that truck water pump that was in here. Even though it was set up with these brackets before, there was an issue, and I don't remember what it was, but oh, I remember what it was. Okay, so what I did so that the heater core would work is the tubes that come out of the side. I did watch another guy on YouTube. I can't take all this credit. Right there. You can pop those out, then you can see where that upper hose is going through. You can plug those off. One's 3/8, the other one's half, but you got to thread it. And then you rethread the water pump up here for your heater core, and then I put another one. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see on the bottom. So basically, you're going to have your push side, which is your hot, and this is your cold side. And so you just make sure that you stay in them same tracks. That pump kind of has two different, it's like a 2-section pump. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm too hillbilly to explain that fancy stuff, so. But yeah, I got it where it runs factory gauges and everything like that. Speedometer, there was a Dakota, oh, I can't remember what it was, the part number on it, but anyway, it has one of those Dakota digital things on there to run the factory speedometer on there. It's like a ESD or 100 or something like that. They have a more updated model, and I guess it's supposed to be easier to tune, or you can use GPS with. That's the 200 series. But think about other than that, and converting the shifter to 4-speed, there you can get through Corvette Central. There's a plate you have to sit there and drill out, and you pull it out of your factory shifter deal, and you also have to buy the neutral safety switch for that. To convert that over, it's basically a whole kit. So without the neutral safety switch, I found out, so I had to order a neutral safety switch. And other than that, this car is pretty much ready to send back to the customer. He's giving it to his kid that's getting ready to go to prom, so hopefully everything will turn out to expectations that he wanted. I know there's some things that some people, oh, I wish you hadn't put this here and I wish I hadn't put it there. Dude, when you're working on a Corvette, you don't have a lot of options for some stuff. But so that's the main part of this video here on this 81 Vet. And I hope the kid enjoys it. Y'all have a great day.